Hello, this is our racism presentation. Racism Must Stop by Jim Kang and Andrew Johnson.
This is our table of contents. First, we have the introduction. Then we have African American racism. Then we have Asian American racism. Then we have Hispanic American racism. And finally, we have the closure.
Introduction. So there's a lot of racism in this country. However, we think it's important to address the different types of racism and where it stems from. Those being African American racism, Asian American racism, and Hispanic racism.
African American racism. First, we have this type of racism, which could be considered a deeply embedded issue in our country. Our country was built off the basis that Black people are inferior to white people. That is the big problem. Our country could never be able to truly get rid of our roots, and we can never forget that our founding fathers intended our country to be made unequal. As we saw from recent events in March, a lot of African American racism is carried about by police officers, and many African American deaths are a result of miscommunication between the victims, being the African Americans, and the aggressors, being the police officers. The pain that has been caused to the African Americans is a deep pain that is heard in the woman's voice in the clip.
When do you want it? What do you want? When do you want it?
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No racist police. Where the mothers? Where the mothers? Where the mothers?
A big cause of this is the preconceived notions about African Americans that police officers have. Assumptions are usually made that African Americans are uncultured and are always reaching for weapons, such as the case with Jacob Blake, or that of African Americans are incapable of following orders from police officers. Other times, it is just plain unfair treatment of African American citizens in comparison to other normal citizens that cause many uproars within the African American community.
Okay, another type of racism is Asian American racism. This type of racism has recently been trending on social media, and awareness of this racism has been brought to light recently. In Atlanta, we have heard of the incidents of people using racial slurs towards the Asian American population, blaming them for anything that has to do with the COVID-19 pandemic.
Everything came from China, homie. Everything comes from China. It's a f***ing disgusting.
Asian Americans have received packages and notes with their names on it that aren't actually their real names, such as Ching Chong or other stereotypical or racist names on the packages. People have called the COVID virus the China virus or the Kung flu as racist remarks to make the Asian American race stay away. Remarks like these are usually ignored by the Asian American race because they have a deeper understanding of where the virus comes from, and they know that it is ignorance and anger in which these remarks are made.
The last type of racism we would like to highlight is Hispanic American racism. In the clip, we see how a racist customer, fully understanding that this restaurant is a Hispanic restaurant, rants at the cashier for using the Spanish language on their menu. He then proceeds to leave and claims that he will call immigration because their cashier is illegal. He also has the ignorance of saying that this is America and that we shouldn't sell Mexican food here. There are two main things wrong with this, and that first of all, not all Hispanic cuisine is Mexican. It could be Cuban, Dominican, or many other types of Hispanic cuisine. Also, America is known as the melting pot and is a blend of cultures, meaning that all cultures are welcomed and accepted in America and that they are not canceled.
Closure. Thank you for your attention, and please spread awareness about racism and about racism prevention. Thank you for your time.